Welcome to another Demarcation Media lighting kit review. Today we have a set from JMbricklayer. This is the Fantastic Idea Mechanical Chameleon. So this was sent to me by JMbricklayer. I had heard of them before, never tried any of their products until now. And it kind of, the whole vibe right now is reminding me quite a bit of Funhole and their products. But yeah, they sent this to me for free for review, but all of the opinions expressed here are entirely my own. So let's just jump in and look at the box real quick. I have to say, the box design doesn't quite work for me, mainly because the product is really small in comparison to the front of the box, and then we have a lot of really busy stuff happening here. We've got like these things down here with all the information about the set. They have the galaxy in it, and it's all green, and then there's this checkerboard, and up here the galaxy is also behind this wording, which makes it really difficult to read. Personally, I would have loved to see the Chameleon itself be bigger, because the printing for the Chameleon is really cool. It's like raised. You can kind of feel the details slightly. I would have loved to see that be a lot bigger, have these be more of a single color, and have there not be any checkerboard stuff. That's just kind of how I'm looking at it. It would be more of a shelf present sort of thing, more of an in-your-face box if the product was bigger. We have a little thing that says Civilization Future Times. Gotta be honest, the naming of these, I'm quite confused. You know, with Lego and with Mega, they have their themes and kind of lines and sublines. And I'm not very familiar with JMbricklayer. I think this is maybe the line, the Civilization Future Times. That's the like line. I'm not really sure. I don't know what Fantastic Idea has to do with anything. But that's a lot of kind of complaining about the box. The box is just the box. We get to see the Chameleon on this side, but then if you flip it around, we get to see that he's not entirely a skeleton. Around the back, pretty much just a bunch of stuff that nobody ever reads, which, again, reminds me very much of Funhole. And then the top of the box, I do like that for some reason. I don't know why. Just the way that's designed works for me. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open. So it looks like we just need to cut a few pieces of tape to get this open. So we are going to go ahead and do that. Let's try not to destroy the box too terribly much, because I'd like to see how this thing opens without being utterly destroyed. Let's see, is that all we needed? Oh, nope, there's one more. I had a feeling. Always cut away from yourself. I know I've said that before, but I say that from experience. I have accidentally stabbed myself in the chest before with an X-Acto knife because I was not being smart and I was cutting towards myself. Okay, so we have stickers, interesting, and some like fiber optic sort of thing. Numbered bags, that's a very good sign. It honestly looks very much like Lego. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a little frightening. That's printed though, that's really nice. Whoa. That is a strange brick separator. It's like a weird mix between Megas and Legos, but it looks a bit like a fish. Oh, there's another shell. Another bag of parts. Oh, interesting. More parts. More parts. Lots of parts. Wow, there's actually a lot crammed into this box for the size that it is. Whoa. That's actually so cool. Drum lacquered silver. That's sick. Not expecting that. Where? I guess I should have expected that. They look like just gray on the box, though. The one downside of having everything packed so efficiently is that the instructions get a little bit mushed. Instructions look a lot better than the box. This looks really nice, actually. The galaxy is not here. We just have some techie looking edge stuff, which I think works really well. It says the neon body of the chameleon lurks in the mysterious rainforest in the form of a cyber bionic half machine aiming at its prey, ready to launches an attack. So is this a weapon? Is that what I'm understanding here? This is a weapon? Okay, so let me go ahead and build this. Interestingly, it looks like they only have the pieces that you're going to be putting on colored. That's an interesting take. Interesting take on instructions. Okay. Yeah. I am curious to see how this comes together. And there you go. That is the finished product. That took me roughly an hour and 45 minutes to put together, maybe closer to 2 hours. The build process was very interesting. There's a lot of really interesting things about the build. There's a lot of really cool building techniques. There's a lot of really fiddly ones. And there's one spot in particular that we're gonna have to talk about. But the end product is very, very striking. Very striking. If you put this on a shelf and have it displayed, it is a conversation starter for sure. Before we look at that though, we do have a few extras. It's like the ring piece here, like what they use in the Lord of the Rings line, but in black, and they left them on these little runners, so it almost looks like Gundam pieces. So you get 2 extras of those. Technically, it's supposed to be 1 from each runner, and then you just get an assortment of extra pieces. Now, I'm pretty sure that these are all extras. Some of them may not be, because as I pointed out before, the instructions are rather odd in the way that they're set up. And for somebody who has been building Lego and Mega for a really long time, they were a bit hard to follow, because when you were building, particularly when you were building and having the same pieces over and over again, it would get very confusing, because if you were adding, say, a 1x2, and then the next step you were adding another 1x2, that 1x2 would be lit up, but the other one wouldn't, and then it would look like I already put it down. And it's just a very odd way to do instructions, and they were a little hard to follow. Before we go any further, I wanted to kind of establish the size of this guy. So here is a Lego minifigure, and here is a Mega figure as well. So you can see this guy is not massive, but he's not small either. So if you put him on a shelf for display, he's going to have a fair amount of shelf presence, especially because this shell side kind of catches the light and refracts it back purplish. So it has like a sheen to it, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of really interesting things going on with this chameleon. I don't fully understand the lore here. I think it might be on an alien planet. I'm not totally sure. Although that swamp down there sure looks like an alien swamp. That bush right there really, really caught my eye, because it's made using Lego's paint palette pieces and then attached to one of their bush pieces, which I did not know was possible until now. That's a really, really clever way to do things. I'm pretty impressed with that. Then we got all these translucent lime green. The roots kind of stretch out and go down into this murk. We've got these weird little growths here that are using Lego's pumpkin piece. There's a little mushroom. There is a sticker to show like a cut off log section. And then the whole like stump here is fairly textured. Then we have a sticker here to show, I guess, the mark or whatever of the chameleon. Can't read the characters up here, but it says Mark T02, and then it says mechanical core. That looks pretty cool, but I gotta say the stickers are basically emulating Lego's worst stickers ever, which is the clear backed ones. And for some reason, all the other companies that I've seen making sets like this go with that. And the clear back stickers are just not good. They never really were good. It's so easy to mess them up. But I mean, it's not horrible. The other thing I didn't love about the stickers, and you can kind of see here, is they have put a single sticker over 2 pieces. And that's done a couple of times. And from my experience, that's a really bad idea, because over time, especially if you want to rebuild this set, you're not going to be able to take those pieces apart because the sticker is going to be stuck to it, and it's just not going to have much longevity for the sticker. This one was a little bit difficult as well. Kind of getting that on in a way that doesn't crumple is hard because it's a curved surface. I will say, once the stickers are all on, it adds a really nice pop and extra bit of detail in the midst of all of the built detail. There's so much going on here. Let's just kind of look at his head. Got his little eyeball, which you can kind of rotate down if you want to, rotate around. It's kind of creepy. You can make him blank-eyed like that. There is a little bug here on the end, which is a hilarious little build because it's using like cherries for the eyes. It's pretty funny. The head is mirrored on this side with that shell. The shell is printed, which I was very happy about. I didn't want to have to try and put stickers on there. Got a little thing saying Quantum Brain. One of these things, I think it's on the tail. It's supposed to say model, I think, but it's misspelled. It's a little odd. It's got a little badge there. There's a ton of warning symbols all over this. So apparently this is a dangerous little robot. His tail is a lot of little assemblies that allow it to curl up and basically articulate it pretty much however you want. You have this little like wire here. Now the wires are not really a wire, it's like a rubber tube. You're supposed to fit it more in, but the way this tube is made, it's so rubbery that once you get it in place, it doesn't want to slide anymore because it wants to bunch up. So that was a little difficult. And this tube right here, so I said this was a lighting kit, and it is a lighting kit, but the lighting part is less pronounced than with the fun hole sets. It's still a pretty cool feature. However, this whole assembly here is not amazing. The pieces have a pretty good feel overall. Like they felt fairly high quality. Not quite to the level of Lego, but definitely really solid. I wouldn't mind building with them more. However, there are some pieces that really need more friction than they have. Particularly everything in this assembly here really needs to stick together more, and it doesn't. It's all very loose. And this pipe here, which is a fiber optic pipe, is very stiff. It is very, very stiff. So it pushes against these pieces with low friction and wants to explode the thing a lot. That was my main issue with the build. But we've got a little switch here. You can click it on, and so his little mechanical heart, I guess, is pumping fluid or energy through there, which it looks really cool, and it's a great way to make this already very like in your face display piece look even more in your face. And I absolutely love all of these shiny bits. They're so cool. The box did not show that off well enough. It is such a great addition because like there's a lot of different hues and colors going on here, but the added metallic just makes it look really good. I'm definitely a fan. I like the use of these wing pieces up top. These were originally from Lego Galaxy Squad. And then another interesting thing about this guy is that he is using a mix of Lego's parts. Obviously, a lot of these parts originally came from Lego, but they're also using some parts that only Mega uses. And they're meshing the two systems in a way that actually really works, which I was surprised. We've got him, his little legs here can move around like that. And then he is attached to this stand on this side. He's attached by his ankle, and then this hand is kind of holding on. And then we have this strut to support him. That was a little bit of a pain to get him in place, but not too bad. That's kind of cool. There's not really any play value to this at all because it's too fiddly for you to play with it. But as a display piece, it's just really interesting. The shell part doesn't have really any rebuild factor. Like, you can't really use the shell for anything other than the shell of this Chameleon. But the rest of the pieces are incredibly useful should you just want to get this for parts. You could totally use it. There's so many interesting, useful parts that you could just easily pop onto any mock. The silver pieces especially, those are really, really nice. There we go. That's what I was talking about. It says model instead of model. I feel like the words that are all over here, all over the whole build, is for the most part just decoration. Like, the stuff that it says doesn't mean a whole ton. It just kind of looks cool. It adds a bit to the whole build. You can see the little green sticker there. Get a little bit of an up close of all this detail. Lots of caution stuff. Like a little battery symbol. And let's show off the light feature again here. So you can kind of just pull it or you can click it. And the great thing is this brick that's lighting it up inside is standalone. So if you wanted to pull it out and put it into other things, the battery is inside the brick. So it's super versatile. There's no battery pack that you have to worry about. Let me go ahead and pop some of the lights off here and we can look at this with the lights off. It puts off quite a glow. You can see it piping brighter from this side and going on in there. That's pretty cool. I mean, I think fiber optic stuff is really cool, and it's interesting to take a look at a set that utilizes it because Lego hasn't used fiber optics since Exoforce, and that was a little bit weak. Like, the lights were a little bit weak in their sets. The lasers that they use were their fiber optic stuff, but this is really bright and looks really good. Kind of makes me want to see if I could integrate this light brick into an Exoforce mech. Well, there you have it. That is the JMbricklayer Mechanical Chameleon. So this is an interesting set, and I feel like it's a very niche set. There's a handful of people out there that are going to think this is the coolest thing ever. Like, if you already think chameleons are cool, you will absolutely want to get this. And then I think the other type of person that might want this is somebody who would want the parts, because there are, as I said before, so many really good parts. The only parts that are not useful are the shell sections, but the rest of it could easily be repurposed into any sort of mock. It's really good. Like the drum lacquer pieces, the fiber optics, all of the joints and little like binoculars and all that stuff. Super, super useful. But like, just as it is pretty cool. I gotta say, it's pretty cool. It's not necessarily the sort of thing that I personally would want to display on my shelf, but it's pretty darn unique, and I would say, like I said before, it's a great conversation starter. Like, if you have this piece on your shelf, somebody's going to be like, what in the world is that? And then you can just kind of have a conversation about why in the world you have a mechanical chameleon on your shelf. Also, you can see his heart glowing from this side when the light is on, which is pretty cool. So, if you want to get one of these for yourself, I will have a link in the description, as well as a 15% off discount code for you guys to use. You can go over to the JMbricklayer store. They have some other stuff, particularly a line of like Technic military vehicles that also looks super interesting. And I would love to see if they ever expand to doing like buildings, because I think that they could make some buildings that would scale pretty darn well to Mega. And these parts are good enough quality that I would 100% use these to build dioramas. So like, if they ever build or they ever make buildings that are futuristic or even castles or something, I 100% will check those out. But yeah, if you want to get one of these for yourself, you can go down to the link in the description or in the pinned comment. If this looks interesting to you, I would say by all means, go ahead and grab one. If you like what you're seeing right here, you're not going to be disappointed. Keep in mind though that at the end of the day, it is a display piece and a display piece only. You cannot play with this. You will 100% break it if you try to play with it. So just keep that in mind. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.